thing there. It must have slipped off, but these are the temporary tattoos that have just been a tool that we have created to encourage parents and children to connect over this pausing mentality, and just to catch. Sometimes you just need that visual reminder to take that time. So now we're going to go into this play project. And as I mentioned, we were having the reports about Ukrainian displaced families coming over the borders and being in complete shock about what they've seen, and losing partners to go and fight, and then having to manage all of your children suddenly and have no home. And I'd seen that there had been some work, some attachment play work. Therapy Institute had done some. There wasn't too much research I could find on this, but I knew that the power of equipping the parents and not just doing a play project with children. And I spoke to one of my board of advisors, Catherine Gladwell. She's head of Refugee Education UK, amazing organisation. And she was saying about the danger really of us just going in with a team, building up these lovely relationships with these vulnerable children and then leaving them again. You know, that's another separation, that's another, you know, trauma possibly for them. So how can we give tools to the parents? And this intervention only took 2 to 3 minutes per family. This is sort of a definition, a summary of attachment play. It's about building that bond between the main caregiver and the child. And it's been seen to improve self-esteem, cognitive function, social intelligence, decrease anxiety, decrease aggressive behaviours. It's often used with children who have been put into foster care, to help adoptive parents bond with their children. It's just a wonderful, wonderful modality. And there are some really simple, lovely ways of doing this. Now, my mission was to just gather more evidence and prove that we really do need play in these situations. So I chose some feather games. Because there was only one of me, I couldn't lug around lots of equipment. I couldn't come in with lots of play packs and give them all a big bag of toys. And also, they were in transition. I was going to a centre where they were being held, and then were going on to move to Spain or Greece or the UK. It was like there was this atmosphere of being suspended, this kind of frozen state, and coupled by the levels of PTSD that these families were experiencing. It was really tough. So we just took one idea, and I had to make it achievable and clear. And feathers are also really symbolic. They're sustainable. If that child loses the feather I give them, the chances are they can find another one in nature. And they also symbolise that transition, that movement from place to place. And when I was training these teachers in Poland, one of the TAs was Ukrainian, and we're talking about the symbolism of a feather, and she just started to cry because it really resonated with where she was at. So we made these flyers and we printed 1,000, and I actually couldn't carry them all. They were actually really heavy, but we brought them over and we translated them into Ukrainian. That's why there's a picture of me. So I used the flyers to say, hello, I'm Debbie, this is me. I'm a trained therapist, and these people have supported me coming over. And then inside were the 4 feather games, the feather activities that we showed them. And so we were modeling these games to them. We weren't just saying, oh, go and play a game, or here, have a feather. What the aim is to make these games more therapeutic and really help to help the parent and help the child to bond again and feel safe with each other and build some connection. And if you can see in the leaflet, you can see the pause, play, connect, the 3 stages. So it's pausing how we prepare to play the game, relax your body, those kinds of things, then telling them how to play the game, and then pointing out, hey, look how it could improve self-regulation or motor skills, or look how they've, it can improve eye contact. Were they looking at you then? Wow, that's amazing. Yeah. So we really try to keep it simple. And here we have, I'm sure you've seen all the beds lined up on the news if you've not been working in the centres, but they literally had these camp beds, and they were going from then, and it meant, because I was so portable, I just had feathers in my bags and leaflets, and I could go from bed to bed to bed, modelling these games and observing and seeing how things progressed. So we're under the 2, that's a mum painting the girl's hand, and we've got another one there painting a boy's hand, and then you've got the feather drop game there going on. So in 4 days in that centre, I was able to see over 350 families. And we also then went on, I did have one lady who helped me with translation on the first day, which was wonderful. We went then on to train some teachers at a school, and then I went on to do another workshop at another centre with Ukrainian families in. So direct contact time with families over 3 days was 20 hours, and there's average about 3 minutes per family. So it's a very short intervention. However, everybody accepted a feather. We'll go back to that. And over 85% of participants held onto the feather and developed activities, started other games after the initial therapeutic play introduction was delivered. So they started dancing with their feathers. They started adapting the games we'd given them. They started finding other children and forming feather gangs, because they had something in common now. They started decorating their belongings with the feathers, putting them in their hair. So, and this wasn't just the children. Sometimes the adults would do this, and had this incredible encounter with one lady who just started dancing, and we danced with the feathers together. And it really brought connection. So all of the parents and children started smiling and laughing during the activities. They all accepted a feather when they were offered one. And there was a definite increased movement, positive shift in body language, whether that was from lying down in the bed to sitting up and engaging, or from sitting to standing. There was a positive shift in the body language and laughter, and it smiled. It was just wonderful. And the most popular colours were yellow and blue, which were the Ukrainian flag colours. And I thought that was really interesting. And the third popular colour was pink. So I witnessed improved connection between parent and child, seeing calmer, relaxed body language. Shoulders came down, there was smiling, there was laughter, increased eye contact, increase in nurturing touch. I've got some lovely pictures in a minute to show you. You can really see this. And an increase in physical movement. And if we think about the bond between a baby and a parent, and the amount of nurture and to be held and rocked, they need that physical touch. And it brings you back into your body when you have that hug, doesn't it? A nice hug, or someone holds your hand. It helps you to stay present, which is really important when you're suffering with trauma. So therapeutic play activities are a gentle, non-threatening way of connecting with one another. So they feel seen, safe, secure, and loved. So phase 2, now we're starting to train other professionals with this pause, play, connect flow, so they can share it safely with vulnerable families who need it the most. And this is part of our thing today. And I will put if you'd like a free download of these 4 feather activities. It's got a video of me just going through the 4 activities. Plus it's got a download of the guide that we used out in Poland that we created to explain to parents about those games. And it also has something else in there. But yeah, they're just a bit of background about the project and a few things about some case studies of what happened. So it's about half an hour's training that you can access anywhere in the world. And I'd be really happy for you to have a copy because you are working with vulnerable families. So I'll put that in the chat in a minute, the download code. And I hope you enjoy it. I'd love your feedback on that. And if you really think, yeah, I can see this being something I want to do more with my families, then it may be that you want to train in the Pause Play Connect flow and start working with families in this way. Just by being able to explain it in a simple way, I think will make such a difference to these families, and they can learn how to integrate more play their way, you know, in the way that they feel comfortable to do so. I've got a couple of slides here with a recent project. I was sent some lovely photos. So this is somebody who's watched the training that I've just talked about, the feather training, and then asked to use it in a family project that she was running with about 65 family. There was parents and children, and they integrated and they put these feather games as one of the activities. And it was wonderful to hear the feedback. There was lots of laughter. It was obviously visibly relaxing them in their bodies. And, you know, you even have two dads playing with feathers and connecting, and they don't look too unhappy. You know, they're even smiling and relaxing and having a go, which is just wonderful. I love the relaxed posture of the mum on the right. I think she's got this lovely, I just love the way she's got her hands open to receive from the child. And there's that lovely eye contact, even though I have to sort of make sure that their identities aren't shown. You can see that there's definite eye contact, that child's fully engaged, ready to go. And some parents feel uncomfortable at the beginning and are not used to it. And the sensations, you know, you can see that perhaps the lady on the right, you can see her hand is between the legs and a bit more rigid. And you are going to see those kinds of things because these are families who are not feeling very comfortable in their bodies right now. They are under immense stress. And yet it's a gentle, lovely, gentle activity. And that child is kind of ministering to the mum. You know, it's just beautiful. And I wish you could see her face. It's just wonderful. She's focused on that feather. And then you've got the parent and child on the left, fully engaged, the parents going right in there and giving that child that nurturing, soothing touch. We're nearly there. So this is the information for the actual training course. If you are working with families quite regularly and you'd like to just learn a bit more and have the material, there's even a guide and things like that in there that you can download and use for parents. Once you have watched all of the training, which isn't too long, it's about an hour, and then had a one-to-one with me, you can then have that year's license to share Pause Play Connect in your country, you know, with the families that you're working with. It's not to train about Pause Play Connect, but it's to use Pause Play Connect individually with families and to start using what you're already doing, but reframing it in a really simple way. And do get in touch if you've got any questions around that. So, just to summarize, we're talking about how we can help parents to understand the power and importance of play in simple steps, in a simple way. And I believe that this model, talking about how we're designed for connection, how play is a child's natural language and it builds connection, and so that we need to learn how to pause and relax so that we feel playful again, all amounts to the therapeutic play, and for families becoming calmer, start that healing process and become happier, and then we're having healthier, happier communities, which is on all of our hearts. So thank you so much for being here. Thank you for giving up your precious time. And I am going to stop sharing and come back to Barbara and the questions.
Okay,